Hi, welcome to this market watch on 15th of August. और अभी हम थोड़ा सा ट्रेड प्लान करेंगे फॉर 17th of August. और हमारे पास सिर्फ नेक्स्ट 2 days ही है ट्रेडिंग के लिए, और फिर 19th को एक NSE क्लोज्ड है. सो लेट्स सी व्हाट आर द स्टॉक्स जो हम नेक्स्ट 2 दिन में ट्रैक करेंगे. सो वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इज अपोलो हॉस्पिटल. ये हमने आज सुबह ही ट्वीट किया था और ये हमने कल रात को भी डिस्कस किया था कि ये 4200 एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग जोन होगा फॉर ब्रेकआउट ट्रैकिंग, एंड यू कैन सी दैट इट ब्रोक एंड फ्रॉम देयर इट वेंट टुवर्ड्स 4375 लेवल्स. और इसकी क्लोजिंग भी नियर ऑल टाइम हाई, और डेफिनेटली ऑल टाइम हाई है, और ये 4400 के बहुत नज़दीक है. सो गोइंग फॉरवर्ड आई वुड बी एक्सपेक्टिंग सम लिटिल बिट ऑफ कंसोलिडेशन, एंड होपफुली उसके बाद it will be able to go towards 4400. The next stock which also gave a very strong closing is Bajaj Finance. Bajaj Finance was dancing around about 6200, और ये हमने कल डिस्कस किया था कि Bajaj Finance is bound in a box. So from there you can see ये 6200 से अभी नियर अबाउट 6400 ये बॉक्स के बहुत ही नज़दीक आ गई है, एंड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड अगर ये 6400 को ब्रेक करके सस्टेन करती है then that would be a good trade जिसको हम ले सकते हैं. टाटा स्टील वी ऑल्सो ट्रेडेड टुडे, और हमने 31 में जाके अपना पोजीशन क्लोज कर लिया था, और उसको मैंने ट्वीट भी किया था, एंड फ्रॉम देयर वाज सम प्रॉफिट बुकिंग. सो गोइंग फॉरवर्ड वी हैव टू सी where it opens tomorrow, or going forward whether it will be able to hold the levels of 1400 levels. But no matter what, this was also one of the good trades which we took. कल रात को हमने 2 ट्रेड्स डिस्कस किए थे, एक था PFC और एक था RDC, और इसमें मैंने वही बोला था कि ये 130 इट ऑलवेज गोज टूवर्ड्स 130 एंड देन इट फेल्स. टुडे इट सीम्स लाइक इट वाज एबल टू गिव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग क्लोजिंग, बट इट सीम्स द going forward it will again try to dip below 130, and this is also true for RDC Limited. इसको आप 150 के जितने दूर खरीद सकते हो, जितने नीचे आप खरीद सकते हो, that's better, and try to book out at 150. This structure is very similar in RDC and PFC. This only difference is they gave a good strong closing, but I am pretty sure that if they are unable to move past 135 for PFC and 160 for RDC, they will again come back to their 150 and 130 respectively zones. GMR Infra went towards 29. So this was a good move, but again it's stuck in a box, as you can see, between 28 and 29, so it was not able to move past 29. Move away from 29 would be something of interest. M&M हमने straight किया था, and we closed all of our positions at 801 802 region, and then eventually it corrected and it closed just shy of 800. So these are few of the stocks which gave good momentum. IOC is also one of the stocks जो हमने 106 में आइडेंटिफाई करके इसमें ट्रेड लिया, and from there it went towards 107.4 and it closed very near day's high, and this is also true for BPCL. ये दोनों ट्रेड्स हमने सुबह 10 बजे मार्केट वॉच में आइडेंटिफाई किया था, where we saw that there were these positions which were getting added. From a BPCL perspective, you can see that it was able to move past the level of 465, लेकिन at least it was able to close at 460 levels. टाटा स्टील की तरह वेदांता भी बहुत अच्छी एक मूव दी, from 300 it went towards 340 levels, and also Britannia. I think going forward Britannia would be a very good trade, because after this good move from 3400 to 3600, you can see there was a nice consolidation. Today it broke, and it gave a very strong closing, so definitely Britannia would be a very good candidate for the next sessions. Though right now you can see that there is the trend is still not mature, and it's not yet very strong. Alchem on the other hand has a very strong trend, and here you can see that after a good move it was able to maintain, and it didn't even come towards 3600, and today it moved towards more towards 3740 levels, and it seems like it's a more in trend, and going forward it will try to go towards our short-term target of 3800. That would be a good trade. In the steel sector, I think the ones like JSW Steel, it seems like The positions are getting added in JSW Steel, but from the way it closed with a upper wick, it might very well be that it will try to come towards 750 in a very short term. India Bull Housing Finance is also trying to maintain the level of 250. Muthoot Finance, though it's making small candles, any breakdown below the level of 1460 would actually make the next leg of downfall for Muthoot Finance. PEL, after a good consolidation and rounding at 1500 levels, today it was able to give a strong closing, and going forward, if it is we would be definitely tracking PEL. Concor also from 650 it was able to get some, but these are very strong, very weak structures. Pyramid Enterprise, it was one of the trades which took, and here you can see the reason for the trade was very simple. After a good move from 2500, it was able to form a very good rounding pattern over here, and going forward agar ye 2820 levels ko break karti hai, so we would be seeing the levels of 3000 in short term. So these are few of the trades जो हमने आज लिए थे, और इसको मैंने ट्वीट भी किया था, and these are also looking good for the future. SDFC continued its momentum, or from the looks of it, it's moving towards 2800. Reliance, it tried to go to Reliance closed at 2170. Okay, so Reliance हमने सुबह आइडेंटिफाई किया था, and from there, from 2140 to 150 levels, it went towards 2200 levels. हमने 2186 में अपना पोजीशन सब क्लोज कर लिए थे, and going forward, it gave a closing at 2170, which is not that bad, and maybe it will it will try to move towards 2200 and eventually 2220 in the short term. Once it's able to give a closing above 2200, I would do a explicit video technical analysis on Reliance. Hind Petro also, you can see, just like BPCL and IOC, they were able to close near day's high, but the difference is, you can see IOC and BPCL, they were able to close multi sessions में जो भी एक चैनल थी उसके near about upper range में close हो रही है, and this is also true for BPCL, but this is not true for Hind Petro, and this was the reason why I chose BPCL and IOC and not Hind Petro. Bajaj Paint is also dancing around about 800. Hindustan Unilever also making higher lows. ये हमने कल भी डिस्कस किया था, until and unless the levels of 2400 are not broken, or नहीं 2388 are not broken, it won't be a problem. And similarly today also it went past 2400, and this was a good move. Indigo also is one of the trades which we took early in the morning. It went towards 1700 and then faced a resistance. Or this is also the same structure, but Bata may be dekhoge, and this is also one of the trades we took, which will come later on. Glenmark tried to give a good move, but eventually it's a weak stock, and we have discussed this as a weak stock, and you can see that today, even though it tried to move past, it was there was a lot of sell-off which happened in the higher levels. Pidilite also was able to get a support at 2200 levels, and it was able to close above it, but these are all not very interesting structures. Cummins India made an all-time high, a 52-week high today, and this was actually a good trade, but going forward it might very well be that if there's levels of 920, ये जो लेवल है ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लेवल है. जब तक 920 ब्रीच नहीं होती है तब तक ये Cummins India would be able to maintain its upward journey, which it had in the month of August. Canara Bank went towards 160, and then a sell-off came. This is Nam India also is trying to consolidate at 380 levels. Lal Path is trying to move towards 4,000, and Naukri is also one of the trades we discussed yesterday. So Naukri gave a good dip towards 5,300, and then it was able to close around about at 5,450 levels. So this was also a good this actually showcases that Naukri has a lot of strength. So first over here it got a deep value buying, and also today it got a deep value buying. So these showcases that there is still buying interest in Naukri. AU Bank is trying making small candles and making higher highs and higher lows, and this is ongoing. IGL is one of the trades which we took earlier, and when we closed at 550, and now again you can see this will again come towards 520 levels. Apollo Tire is trying to maintain. We discussed on this particular day it entered the box, and right now you can see it is trying to maintain that box. This is also true for NMDC is also in a box. These are not very interesting patterns, so let's skip them. Sun Pharma is a very interesting pattern. It has been consolidating since long, and so going forward agar 800 ki breakout hai, that will be a very genuine breakout, and definitely Sun Pharma should be in your radar. And this is also true for Adani. Adani has been making is dancing on these levels, and it seems like a move is definitely pending, and it is going to come very soon. For Adani, try to see if it is able to maintain the 680 levels. This would be interesting. Marico, we discussed yesterday that this is a weak structure, and today you can see even though it tried to move past 520, it met with resistance, and it closed very near to its day low. Dr. Reddy was also discussed yesterday, and today also you can see it was it didn't perform at all. Going forward, if it is not able to move past 4700, soon there will be more weakness. HDFC Life is stuck in a box. It's not an interesting pattern. APL Limited is also trying to consolidate. HDFC Bank made a new high, multi-session high, and this also didn't move today, and this is all because I think Reliance was the one. So TCS also, you can see the structure is very similar to HDFC Bank. Very small moves because the whole market was being driven by Reliance. GAIL is also trying to go towards 150, and right now it's dancing between 145 and 150. So until and unless one of the ranges break, there's not much we can do. ICICI GI is also looking good. Here you can see this is a nice rounding pattern which is forming, and if the levels of 1470 is very important for any future movement in ICICI Lombard, and this should be one of the companies जो आपको radar में रखनी चाहिए, because these are few of the good trades which can give you a very quick move. And definitely I would be tracking ICICI GI in the very short term, and it seems like this particular structure is very reliable one until and unless a breakdown between below 1420 comes in. If a closing below 1420 comes in, then again there will be more weakness. SAIL has been trying to get some support at 130, and here it seems like it's running out of steam after, so it's not being able to sustain this red candle, and right now it seems like it will again dip towards more weakness is going to come in. Double was a reversal trade जो हमने डिस्कस किया था कल. It tried to move past the levels of 590, but it failed, and so today most of the you see these are all sort of dojis which have been formed in most of the counters, and the reason for this is it seems like the market is still indecisive of where where the next move is going to come in. So you can see ICI Prudential Life and ABFR also, Shriram Transport Finance. So these are all this is definitely a weak counter if it is unable to close above 1300. The Shriram Transport Finance. Gujarat Gas Limited seems like a very good short account candidate, and today we booked our profits, and from there it had a good fall, and it closed a day's low, and it seems like going forward there will be more weakness in Gujarat Gas. So let's just look into some interesting structures, और फिर उन्हीं पे बात करते हैं, because then this will try to keep this video small. So in general the whole market is right now in a consolidating mode, so it's just like Asian Paint. Buy anywhere near any downfall you get and try to book at 3000. This is the same trade which I have been taking since long. Emphasis, it looks like it faced resistance at 2800, which was the short-term target, and from there was a profit booking. So going forward there can be more weakness in Emphasis. LT also, you can see this is a strong candle. So between LT and Tata Consumer, you can see that the size of the candle of Tata Consumer is much smaller, and so the chances of Tata Consumer resuming from here is much higher compared to say LT, where such a big structure downfall has happened. And yeah, there's not much we can say from these companies. Petronet, PNB, Mindtree also, you see facing resistance at higher levels. Escorts, you see, after the good move, it has been making higher highs and higher lows, and today at least the candle is not very supportive, and it closed at 1260. So going forward, if it closes below this level of 1250, there can be more downfall in this particular structure. Siemens also, after a good move yesterday, it is right now consolidating, so there's not much of a trade. Hero MotoCorp, आज हमने सुबह 10:30 बजे डिस्कस किया था, and here you can see it closed at day's low, and it closed at 2750, and maybe going forward it will try to correct towards 2700 very soon, because the whole of this auto sector is looking weak. Tata Chem also is trying to consolidate at these regions. It has a good run from 800 till 900, so 900 would be a good short-term target. And Divi's Lupin is also, until and unless ये 1000 के नीचे, there's not much of interest to me. Similarly, National Alum also is one of the companies we discussed yesterday about the weakness in National Alum, and you can see it's unable to move past 85. IRCTC is also trying to get a support from 2600 levels, so we have to see if it is able to hold this level of 2600, and then maybe more strength will come. So trend correct hoke, you can see it's making lower lows, and it's drifting towards the level of 850. Let's see if it is able to get buying at 850. PVR gave a closing below 1400 today, and going forward we have to see if it is able to get some support from 1350. In general, you can see PVR is stuck in a box, and though it has been shifting higher, so today's closing suggests there is more weakness, and maybe the levels of 1350 are in the vicinity in PVR. Hindus Indian Hotel, not interesting. DLF not. So in general, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, these are all very bearish structures. So Tata Motors tried to give a good move, and now you see it's again trying to come towards 300. So we have to track if Tata Motors is able to again take out the levels of 310. Until and unless that happens, so there's not much we can do. Motherson Sumi we discussed on this particular day after the breakdown, and from there you can see it's now closing below 220, and maybe going forward it will try to correct more, but at least it's not in the trend is still not strong compared to see what happened in Amaraja Batteries. After the result, it opened at just 2.742, and from there was a huge sell-off, and it closed at day's low. So this is how we have discussed that until and unless Amaraja Battery moves past 740, it's not of an interesting counter to us. Havels looks weak, and so today it closed at day's low, and maybe going forward it will dip towards 1200, and this is also one of the trades which we have to track. Agar Havels comes towards 1200, we have to see if such a buying occurs, and if not, then there can be more weakness, as it would be a breakdown of a structure जो बहुत sessions तक काम कर रही है. अंबुजा सीमेंट वी डिस्कस yesterday इस वीक, और ये जो मैं डिस्कशंस किए हैं इसकी वीडियोस आपको अपराइट इन कॉर्नर में मिल जाएंगी. जस्ट लाइक अल्ट्रा हमने डिस्कस किया था, दिस इज वीक. यू कैन सी मल्टी सेशन लो पे जाके डेज लो पे जाके क्लोज किया है. Also true for MGL. MGL is also looking very weak. State Bank of India, huge weakness, huge. So today State Bank of India had absolutely no chance, and going forward I think there will be huge number of longs will get unwinded. It seemed earlier that State Bank of India would be able to hold the levels of 425, but going forward it's very much in the borderline, and it closed at day's low. कल अगर कोई मिराकल होके ये गैप अप ओपनिंग होके अगर ये 433 लेवल्स को breach nahi karti hai, the structure is going to be very weak, and going forward there can be a drastic fall in State Bank of India. And this is exactly one of the reasons why you should never listen to TV experts, because the way they present the data, the way they tell, so that actually confuses retailers a lot. And going forward you can see that हमने बोला था कि जब तक ये 433 के ऊपर decisive closing nahi degi, there is no hope in State Bank of India. Today unfortunately it's the first day where I'm seeing that it's getting finally in trend, and with a breakdown in this particular, so here you can see this was actually a downfall, a pole, and then there was a flag. Today there was a breakdown of the flag, and it closed at 424 levels, and this is really bad. And going forward I really think that the levels of 418 is going to come, if not more weakness is going to come in. Bosch also closed at days low. Ashok Leyland, a very good short trade जो हमने बहुत पहले आइडेंटिफाई किया था, and I kept tweeting about it today. So you can see it closed at a day's low at 127. So if it's not able to take out the levels of 130 soon, so Ashok Leyland would definitely would try to go towards the levels of 125 and even towards the level of 122. City Union Bank, ये structure हमने discuss किया था 150. Today is the first day after multi sessions where it closed below 150, and going forward there will be more weakness. Bajaj Auto tried to give us a good move, but today you can see आज हमने सुबह 10:30 बजे इसको identify किया था and it closed at days low. Is similar for Maruti also, जहाँ पे Maruti should be here. हमने कल ये डिस्कस किया था कि any move below 7,000 will trigger will give more shots, and this is exactly what happens. From 7,000 it went towards 6,800 levels. Sorry, and it closed at 68.20. So this was a good short trade. Page India हमने कल डिस्कस किया था, there is more weakness, and this is exactly what happened. कल हमने बोला था ये 3100 levels तक जाएगी और 30,000 फिर 30,000 levels पर जा सकती है, and you can see how it moved. Auto Pharma हमने कल डिस्कस किया था as a weak counter, and you can see what happened in Auto Pharma. TVS Motor हमने डिस्कस किया था as a weak counter, and here you can see from 550 it dipped towards 500. So here you can see EICHERMOT हमने डिस्कस किया था as a weak counter. Sri Cement हमने डिस्कस किया था as a weak counter, and also Sun TV and Granules, RBL Bank, ये सब हमने as weak counters डिस्कस किए थे. And today you can see that all of these together with Power Grid and Bank of Baroda, all of them close towards day low. But the thing you have to see is the commonality of sectors. Maruti over here together with Eicher over here, TVS Motor over here, and then you have Bharat Forge over here. So the whole of the IT was one of the sectors. Bajaj Auto over here, right? Ashok Leyland over here, Bosch also over here. Exide Industries is also one of the short counters जो हमने discuss किया था from much earlier ahead, and you can see that since so many multiple sessions it's making lower lows, and it seems like it's going towards 160 levels. Yeah, so the thing which I wanted to showcase is auto was a weak sector, और ये आज हमने सुबह 10:30 बजे identify कर लिया था. Other than M&M, no other counter was moving, and I explicitly told to stay away from any long positions in auto. और वो वीडियो भी आपको अपर राइट हैंड कॉर्नर में अटैच मिल जाएगी. नाउ लेट्स डू अ क्विक लुक इन पावर ग्रिड. एंड सो पावर ग्रिड में एक बहुत अच्छी मूव आई थी, एंड टिल नाउ दिस वन was a very interesting structure, but from here this is absolutely a heartbreaker, and the reason for this is it might reverse, but the chances of such a failed structure, because theoretically if after a big move you see a big candle like this where the closing is near about the low of that candle, this definitely suggests that there is not enough buying interest. In the morning today I was talking about trying to track from 184 it opened, and from there it came towards exactly 181, and it was able to maintain that level, and then within the last in the last half an hour ये 180.8 को breach करके trade करने लगी. So this is absolutely not looking good for me, because कोई भी अगर आप if you try to from a candle structure, if you try to see just like say for example the Sun TV. So once this big move came in, you can see that these small moves eventually will devour out this whole candle, और ये आपको previously BHEL में दिखी. अच्छा, so maybe if you open the structure of BHEL, you will see यहाँ पे मेरे पास 26 July का है, and when after the big move had already come in, right, and so it's not showing up, but okay, BHEL is also weak, and today is a session where it closed below 55, and going forward it will go towards 50. Yeah, so but what I'm going to suggest is also look for Asian Paint, say for example. I mean, seriously, I mean, these big moves come in. Okay, even ICICI Bank, say for example, a good big move came in, and then the size of these candles, they itself showcases that there won't be any much buying interest, right? Whereas if you see say for example SRF, say for example over here, see after this big move you see the size of the candles, so this at least showcases that there is a chance. Or even if you look for just like look for PI Industries over here or LT over here, these are very weak structures, because once after a big move, if such a big candle comes in, then theoretically it doesn't necessarily it doesn't mean it's weak. It just means that जो buying interest होनी चाहिए थी वो है नहीं, right? And so from this structure to this structure, the structure is still okay, क्योंकि यहाँ पे dip आई and buying आई, लेकिन जब ये structure बन जाती है, then from there you can see this is how you can easily trade this particular structure, and this is exactly what also happened with power grid, right? Whereas in SRF you can see that after this big move there is no move, all the size of the candles are small, which means it's consolidating, which means that the buyers जो पहले initial buy किए हैं, they are not interested to sell, and as a result of which these structures are very powerful. And similarly you can see say LTI अगर data support की तो yeah, over here see when this structure came in, from there you can see that these are all small candles, right? And as a result of which it was able to move forward. Whereas after such a big structure, when this particular candle comes in, so you can be very well be sure that going forward there will be weakness. And this is one of the trading technicals which which I have learned from the market, and it's more about the sentiment. So you should not just go ahead as just like Tech Mahindra, right? Here you can see a big move, and then the size of the candles are so much smaller, and also see for Siemens big candle and then small candles, right? So these are good structures जहाँ पे going forward the chances of having more further momentum is much higher, whereas compared to SCOS you can see small candles, body of the candle, and then you can see this red itself. As I mentioned earlier when we were discussing it, this doesn't give confidence, because it seems like if it closed at day's low, which means that the sellers, or rather the new buyers who want to buy, or rather जिसके positions थी, they actually sold out their holdings. So this actually will lead to, just like say PI Industries, we have already seen such structures. LT is also one of the structures. Going forward, I wouldn't be surprised if LT starts trading below 1650 levels, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should go ahead and short the counter. This is also true for Adani Enterprise. See, this particular candle came, and then the next day the candle was bigger, closing towards the day's low, and so you can eventually see how this structure crumbles. This is let's take another example. Say this one, it moved, and then this red came in, and then eventually you see that it has not been, कितने sessions हो गए इसमें, 10-12 sessions हो गए हैं, and still it has not been able to take out the levels of say 1850 over here, right? So this actually showcases that somehow the momentum is not very strong. So I always tell, अगर आपको momentum trading करनी है, there are few technicals, just like I gave a small demo right now. So there are some different 7, 8 to 10 different structures जो आप लोगों को अगर आपको मालूम होगी, so it would be much easier for you to trade. And this is exactly the reason why I extensively am tracking PEL, say for example, and I'm more confident that this is, of course, this any day anything can happen and this can fall. That's not the point. The point is till now it's in the game, and till now it looks like there's a huge scope for it to go and make towards a new all-time high. So that's all, folks, and this is the reason why I always say after such a big move, just like in GMR Infra, आज अच्छी मूव आई है, Bajaj Finance, IOC, always try to see what the next candles are making, and that will actually give you a bigger hint of how things are going to look forward. Going forward for tomorrow, in a short nutshell, M&M is looking good, और ये हमने आज सुबह 10 बजे भी डिस्कस किया था, और हमने तो बोला भी था कि हमारा टारगेट 801 802 रीजन है, हम निकल जाएंगे, and that's what we did. We stick to our plans and we always book our profits, even though it can go much higher. Just like Reliance में मैं 2186 में निकल गया, it went towards 2200. These things are bound to happen, but from there you can see it closed at 2170 levels, right? So those things are going to happen. At least I'm happy with the profit which I was able to book in. So going forward, definitely in my radar would be companies like Alchem, and definitely Bajaj Hospital, as Apollo Hospital, and also Bajaj Finance. I think Bajaj Finance शायद 6400 में जाके इसको फिर resistance मिले, और फिर it might actually go to more 6400 को तोड़ के ये maybe it will start going towards 6500. And the other one is Piramal Enterprise, PEL, that would be in my radar. Cummins India, you can see it seems like if it is able to hold this level of 950-ish, then theoretically it might consolidate, but it seems it's very much in trend, and going forward it would be interesting to see how it moves. Lal Path is also, you can see it's trying to consolidate, and any move past 4,000 would be interest to me. And this structure is very similar to also Sun Pharma 800 would be a level which I would be interested in. Glenmark looks weak, and going forward there will be more weakness in Glenmark, so be prepared for it. IGL also is sort of trying, जब तक ये 550 के ऊपर closing नहीं देती, it won't be of interest to me. Marico, it seems like there's more weakness going forward. 500 levels के लिए prepared रहो. Dr. Reddy is trying to reverse from these levels, but I wouldn't be trading Dr. Reddy unless 5000 के ऊपर closing आए. So, and sale also, you can see that after this downfall it seems like the structure is not, though it was able to make a higher, so जब तक 130 levels को maintain कर रही है, it will try to be in this box between 130 and 140. Or Gujarat Gas is definitely a good short candidate for the coming days, as there is going to be more weakness in Gujarat Gas, and from the structure it looks really that it's also coming in trend. From other weeks, Emphasis is also looking weak, and going forward अगर ये 2700 जो levels है, अगर इसके below closing आती है, so it will have a drastic fall, so you should be well aware of that. Until and unless that happens, there's nothing to worry. Hero MotoCorp also is weak, and going forward it may try to correct more. PVR is also weak, and since it was not able to close at above 1400, there can be more weakness towards PVR. For PVR there can be more weakness towards 1350 levels, so this is also something which you have to consider. And definitely weakness is definitely there. State Bank of India, Amraja Batteries, Havels, Naveen Fluorine. So Naveen Fluorine also has been dancing, and now until and unless a quick reversal comes in, so it seems like ये फिर 3500 levels के लिए जा रही है. Exide Industries is definitely weak. LTI may give a very good buying opportunity, और मैं इसको आज actively track भी कर रहा था. It closed at 4780. अगर ये 4780 ये ट्रैक LTI फॉर रिवर्सल, क्योंकि जनरली वो इस लेवल से बहुत बार रिवर्स कर चुकी है इन द पास्ट, और अगर ये नहीं कर पाई, और अगर ये लेवल ब्रीच होती है, से द लेवल्स ऑफ 4680 4700, अगर ये ब्रीच होती है, so there can be more downfall, but till then I would be very much be interested. State Bank of India is very weak. It's like a really sad story. And also CUB is weak, because this advantage of having these counters in the forefront or in the runner is because these are very good trading stocks, and definitely the advantage which I get is, even if I'm stuck in State Bank of India, it always helps for me to create different option hedging strategies for my cash holdings, and so it's always turns out to be a really good money maker. So when I see such a weakness, it actually is very sad, as right now I want to buy few lots of State Bank of India in cash, but I won't be able to, just because from the structure of it I can see it will easily go towards 420 and below 420 in very short term. So this is how it looks like. Okay, this is Sri Cement is weak. Maruti is definitely broke this level. Going forward, there is more weakness going to come in Maruti, AUROPHARMA, say for example, and also Cadilla. So this is a typical bearish breakdown which has happened, and going forward is going for 500 levels. MFSL is also looking weak until and unless अगर ये 1050 levels को अगर वो breach कर दी, so going forward, if it is not able to maintain this level of 1010, so there can be more weakness coming in MFSL, and this is also true for Page Industries as well as for PEL and EICHERMOT. It seems like maybe this is going to have a reversal soon, but you never know, because the whole of the auto sector, the sentiment in the auto sector is really not that great. So thanks a lot for listening, and sorry for this big video. Hope this few of the concepts which were discussed over here is going to help you in understanding. And as always, power grid, I wouldn't be much interested in 180 levels for now in power grid, and so going forward, let's see how this behaves, and I would be really surprised if it can go ahead and take out the levels of 186 again in the very near short term. But you never know, it's market and anything can happen, so let's let's be optimistic. Thanks a lot for listening, and as always, these are just an educational video and my personal views. Please don't trade on them, rather use your logic, and please consult your financial advisor for any trades or investment you are really interested on. Thanks a lot for listening, and have a nice evening. Bye bye.